No, Mom, it's come down.
Okay, so how many of you are atmospheric sciences majors? You're invited to come up and help get this launched. Majors, okay? So this is the assembly. Can you all hear me okay? I hate using that megaphone. I like yelling. It's practicing yelling at my kids, right? Okay? Or maybe I practice this by yelling. I don't know. Anyway, so we have this balloon. It has a roughly 200-gram payload. We have a balloon. Then we have a parachute. Why do we have a parachute?
Protect the data.
Yeah, so it doesn't hit someone in the head too hard, right? Because it's going to come down at about 40 miles per hour. It's going to ascend at a rate of about 4 meters per second, which is how fast in miles per hour, Steve? I forgot the conversion. About 12 miles per hour. So it's on a slow boat to the stratosphere. So you guys remember the stratosphere? Why do we want to go up to the stratosphere with this?
Less turbulence.
Well, there's less turbulence up there for sure. We want a full profile for our models, so we want to get the entire troposphere represented in our numerical weather models, and so that's why we're going to try to go up to the stratosphere. It kind of depends on how much we fill this, because as the pressure decreases exponentially, we know we get up to the stratosphere and really low pressures. What's going to happen to this balloon? We want it to pop, right? We don't want it hanging out there for days. Otherwise, the poor scientist is stuck here reading the data for days, right? So the goal is to get it up about to the stratosphere and have it burst, and it will come back down. So we just talked about how it will go about 200 kilometers out, so 150 miles out. If it gets into the jet stream, it can get ported really far out of town. Often from Champaign, when we launch, they go out to near Indianapolis, okay? Technically, we're supposed to call the FAA because these can bump into planes. Pilots get a little bit perturbed when they see unidentified objects up there, but it goes so slow, it's usually not a major obstacle. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. So I talked to the class that was here earlier. We're measuring temperature, relative humidity, pressure. We can get the dew point and other characteristics from those measurements. So anything like dew point we'd call a derived measurement. And then we're also we're communicating with GPS satellites 3 to 4 in order to triangulate its position, and then we can calculate the wind speed and direction. All right, so we're all doing this through radio frequency communication, which I didn't talk to you guys about, but there's actually a reserved band for this type of observation between about 400 and 405 megahertz. Did you guys watch Stranger Things? Yeah, you know the Russian signal? Well, that might have been happening at about 430 megahertz. So maybe we could tune this thing and see if there are any Russians around later. Yeah? So this is what it actually sounds like. You hear this? That's the data coming from our radio sound into the receiver through the antenna. Okay, so we have this reserved frequency that's been allocated by the FAA just for these types of observations. Why do you think they would do that?
So they know what it is.
Well, they know what it is, yeah, but it's blocked out so that other entities can't use it. It's for just weather obs. Why are weather obs so important? Every day, the National Weather Service is issuing warnings, forecasts to protect people, save lives, save crops, right? It's a critical function of the U.S. infrastructure, and so the FAA has a couple reserve bands in a bunch of different frequency zones for instrumentation. This happens to be in a microwave region that's specific to this equipment, but there are a couple others higher up in the microwave for other types of observations with radar and water. Okay, are we good to go?
We are good to go.
Do you guys have any questions before we let go? Yeah.
How long is this going to take?
Well, we're going to launch this, and then anyone who wants to see data come in on the computer can come down here. But once it's gone and you can't see it, you're free to leave, because this can take an hour to 2 hours total to collect all the data. Yeah, we don't expect you to stay for all the data. We're not going to read it to you like Bueller. It's at 500 millibars. Yeah, no, let's not do that. Okay. All right, so if we're gonna let this thing go now, I think we need a countdown, right? So who wants to lead my countdown? Dev? You lead it. Okay, start with 10 and go down.
Dave. 9,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let go! There it goes!
Woo! Whoa!
There it goes. We're gonna get some crazy wind readings because my friends forgot their spool, but that's okay. They do have a letter on it. On there. Where's it going? What? It's not coming down. Freak out, so it does say national. Our spool got stuck. Is it? Okay. All right. So it's on its way to the stratosphere.
Anna, someone was wondering if you're going to send the weather readings out.
Yeah, we can send the data out. We'll post the data somehow out to classes. You guys can look at it. What's that? Yeah, we'll put it in our Moodles in wherever.
3 or 4 freshmen games.
All right. It should be visible for a little bit longer. What's the ascension rate? You guys know? Thank
sorry.
you so much. Have a wonderful
I'm going to be taking
I'm going to. Bye.
So this is the pressure it's reading. It's going down. Temperature is going down. Relative humidity is about constant.
I thought you guys were way down here. I saw some of my.
There's the wind speed is increasing as you go up, and the direction's about the same.
There it goes. UIUC.